Yo guys, what is going on? It is Invin here, and today what I'm going to be bringing to you guys is a video on the actual fastest trade skill aptitude rewards and containers that you can actually earn. So it's going to be which actually require the least XP in order to get the caches, and in turn which will take you the least amount of time per day. So whether this is because you're trying to get that emerald gypsum on maybe a little bit of a time frame limit, or you just wanted to get as many of these crates as you possibly can for the extra drops, etc. I'm going to go over all of these and talk you through them. One thing you've got to remember as well is, of course, the level of XP, so how much is required to actually get to that reward, each segment of it, and then the full one itself. And then, of course, the ability to collect the materials or get the XP, in essence, how fast you can do that, because things like your gathering skills are going to be way quicker because you're gathering them from every single thing you get, and you need to gather stuff to then refine it to get that XP, and then you need refined stuff to then be able to craft stuff. So it all is a chain effect, but I'm going to start off by telling you guys the quickest ways to do this and which are the best that you can do to power level if you do want to do that every single day. Before we jump into this video fully, if you are new to the channel, then please do make sure that you are dropping a subscribe down below. I do upload every single day, and I would love to have you guys here as part of my channel community. And without further ado, let's jump into the video here. So of course, as many of you guys will know, there is the in-game menu where you can look at your trade skills, you can see what level you're at, etc, and you can kind of work your way through. And if I head it over to something like smelting, as you guys can see, I'm almost to that second trade skill aptitude one here. As you look on it, it tells you how much XP just underneath. It's very small there, so I don't know if you'll be able to see it too well on the video, but it says that I need 966,464 to aptitude rank 1, and that is the full way up. So obviously, to get to this bit, you can say I only need maybe 150,000 more XP, and then that's about 600,000 more. Now, you can work this out as well for the regular levels. So engineering, which I've only got a level 74, it tells me I need 2,200 XP for the next level, so you can go ahead and work that out, etc. But one thing that you can do as well is obviously look when you first get to a fresh 200, how much XP you need for the full way around. Something like harvesting here, where I'm almost there, it says I only need another 4,851 to get all the way up to trade skill aptitude 4, and that will get me a container. And then you can work that out versus how much you get from actually gathering these materials out in the world. Now, one thing we can look at here is something called New World Database, and I will leave their website linked in the description. Again, I'm not affiliated with these guys, but they do make some brilliant resources like this list here of the experience that is required in order to get each of the parcel, the crate, and then the package of the materials for the relative skill. So as you guys can see on the screen, it tells you obviously you get an emerald gypsum for the first third of a trade skill that you do every single day, and then they've also got the breakdown of it. So for example, for Arcana, a third of it requires 474,936 XP, and that will give you a parcel of arcane materials. Then a second one at nearly 1 mil, and then 1.5 mil essentially for that one. And this tells you for each trade skill, so whether it's crafting, whether it's refining, or whether it's gathering. And as you go down of these lists, you guys will be able to see things like fishing. Bear in mind at the moment, fishing is bugged for some players. It doesn't actually give the trade skill aptitude containers, so this is probably the least experience required, but takes the longest to catch and isn't working properly, so I would steer away from this one for now. But if you look at the harvesting, for example, this is a really easy one to get, 53k XP total, and that will get you the top one. And so obviously that's quite quick in comparison to something like leatherworking, which you need 2.5 million XP to get. But of course, you get more XP for the refines that you do make, so it swings and roundabouts. They're not too dissimilar, but of course the ones with lower values are obviously going to be quicker. So in terms of your harvesting then, and kind of like your gathering ones, harvesting is by far the quickest after fishing at 53k for your total there. Then you've got logging, which is 124,000 for your total, mining at 49,000, so that's even quicker than harvesting, and then skinning at 443,000. But what you've got to take into consideration when you are looking at this is actually the availability of experience and how much you get per mob, which means that skinning is still by far the longest out of the four, but isn't as long as it seems, because you're getting about 10 times more than you would with the other stuff. Mining is very, very quick, particularly if you go to an area with a lot of nodes. You can get this done very, very nice and quickly. Logging, again, is fairly sharpish, because again, it seems like a lot of XP, but you actually get quite a lot, particularly once you get onto those wordwood and especially the ironwood trees. So again, depending on the level of nodes that you're gathering, etc., it's going to be slightly quicker. Now, when we do look at things like your crafting or your refining, if we look at refining first, you guys will be able to see then, let's go down to leatherworking. 2.5 mil XP, like I said, but you do get an awful lot every time you craft, but you do get a lot of XP if we just head over here and look at the leather working station in-game. So, of course, when you make your runic leather there, you can see that is 6,160 XP per, and of course, you want to do those every single day for your daily crafts. But then when you go onto something like the infused leather, which is the tier 5 variant, they are 8,470 per one, which does mean that we take the total required to get a level 3 leather working, divide it by the amount of infused leather that you would need to make, and that is actually a standard number here of 287 crafts. So it's actually not all that much, and once you notice how much you actually do get once you've been gathering, that will actually probably take you maybe 30-40 minutes of farming, maybe an hour or so if you want to get all maxed out on that, but you can easily get a couple of hundred of that just by going around and doing your farming. But of course it will require the tier 5 materials, which do take a little bit longer to gather because obviously you need to kill the mobs for them, etc. But again, it's pretty quick to gather. It's about the same amount of time as it will take you to actually skin them, and in turn get the trade skill aptitude reward for that. So they do work quite hand in hand, which is very, very nice. Now, if we look at something like smelting, similar XP rates, stone cutting, again, similar, and then weaving and woodworking, again, exactly the same XP rates for that. And then we look at crafting. You've got 1.7 mil on the weaponsmithing, you've got 900k on jewel crafting, you've got 1.9 mil on furnishing, you've got 1.7 mil on engineering. Cooking is only 210,000, and then you've got 1.7 mil on armoring, 1.5 mil on arcana. Now, for these, what you can do as well, like I said, I will leave this linked in the description for you guys, but you can check out what you would get for the drops in each of these in this. And what I like to do is then, of course, change the rarity to the best one, so you can see, obviously, you get patterns and stuff in the Arcana one. You'll then also get things like Asmodeum, Glittering Ebony, Runic Leather, and Phoenix Weave as a chance to drop. Quintessences. You can get all types of different stuff here. Timeless shards here for each of the different things you can craft. Essences, etc. And these all have a chance to drop, and that's just the Arcana one, for example. We can then look in the furnishing one, and this is what a lot of players are looking for right now, because these, of course, are some of the best ones that you can get. So having a look in here, you can see you get Vial of Suspended Azoth, you get schematics, you can get all these different types of things, but if you have a look on here right now, you are not able to get any of the trophy materials. So this has been changed since it first came out, so bear that in mind. You're not able to get the trophy upgrade materials in these right now, and that is because I'm guessing these are only the 3-star boxes. They have spoke about bringing out the 4-star reward boxes soon, but they're not yet available, and I would assume that's where the trophy upgrade potential is going to be, so do bear that in mind. It is, however, worth noting with these furnishing caches that they can basically drop all of the schematics in the game, which means that you can get some of those tier 4 and tier 5 storage chests, which are very, very nice to get dropped. But don't get your hopes up on a stacked deck, because it's looking like these have actually been removed from the loot pool for the time being, so we'll give you guys an update as soon as we get back. But just to show you guys with the blue ones, which is the second tier that you actually get from this, I'm not sure whether the website's glitched or whether the game's just odd, but you are able to get, you know, stacked decks. You are able to get ancient text, quarter to master's notes from the potential drops from this second level of crate, which means, you know, obviously these are going to be on a rarer drop, but there is the possibility for it. But of course, what most of you guys are going to be getting is the infused leather, infused silk, ironwood planks, orichalcum ingots, and vial of suspended azoth. Maybe you get lucky and get some of this stuff, but it is from the second crate in the level, not the third and final one, which is odd. I don't know why that is, but do bear that in mind. So you can potentially get some. They're just very, very rare drops, and it's not going to be worth farming all that much, although if you do get one, it is very, very good. So what you can do is go through and work these ones out. In general essence, it's going to be the same amount of time for you to get a full trade skill aptitude level. So for example, bring in this harvesting when I get it to 4, all the way back up to 5 if I harvest a load of stuff in there, including, you know, your silk and your wire fiber and such. By the time I get that back up to the next level, I would probably have enough to refine into a full weaving level, and then obviously that could go towards a crafting level. Probably not enough for a full one, because obviously you need different materials from different crafting and refining things, but obviously it could do a good chunk towards it, and it does make it better. Like if you're like me here, you can see that I've got still quite a few trade skills to level up. When I'm doing that and I'm collecting materials for myself, I'm easily able to do both of those and gain the aptitude containers, which is really, really nice. So it is good. Fastest ones are probably going to be your gathering ones. I would say harvesting by a long shot, then mining, then logging, and then skinning. When we're looking at refining, I would say that the quickest there is going to be your weaving, then your smelting, then your leatherworking, then your woodworking, and then your stone cutting. Stone cutting is actually pretty hard to level up unless you are crafting a lot of keys per day for arenas and dungeons, which is good once you do get to 200, so probably will even out. And then in terms of your crafting then, obviously dual crafting's got one of the lower levels of XP required, but it is harder to get hold of those materials, and they do cost a lot. So I would probably say that weaponsmithing, armoring, engineering, and arcana are kind of on par. Cooking, I would say, is the easiest one. You're nearly 210,000, so that's pretty easy to get. Then I would say it's your crafting one, so your weaponsmithing, armoring, engineering, arcana. Then I would say dual crafting, and then finally furnishing, as it does tend to be quite expensive to level up. But like I said there on that second crate, you can get some of those epic and legendary drops, which could be worth it. But from what I've seen in the comment section here on YouTube, you guys are telling me really you haven't got a lot of these from that, so maybe it's not all that worth grinding out for. Just level it up gradually. If you get there and you get some of these materials and you can level it up past that, get some aptitude caches, brilliant, see what you get, but I wouldn't hard focus it. I would much rather probably go for something like weaponsmithing, armoring, where I get potentially more asmodium, runic leather, etc., that have a 10 daily limit craft on the crafting there. So that would be my recommendation. Those are what I think are going to be the fastest and what numbers wise add up to be the fastest, so hopefully you guys can power through a few of these and get a load of them ready so that you get your trade skill aptitude, your emerald gypsum, etc. every single day without much hassle, which is the main goal from this video. So if you guys have enjoyed, if you have, please do be sure to leave me a like on today's videos. That really does help support me and my content here on YouTube. If you are new to this channel, like I mentioned at the beginning of today's video, please do drop me a subscribe down below. We are pushing for 13,000 subscribers. Support has been unreal, so if you could help me out by helping me reach that goal, that would be amazing. Other than that, guys, as always, thank you very much for your time, thank you for watching, and I will catch you tomorrow on another upload. Take care, guys, and peace.